Hey everybody, I'm Kristen Purvis. Today I'm going to be talking to you about learner flexibility and prioritization and why that's important in your classes. So the agenda for today, first we're going to go over learner flexibility, what it is, why it's important in your class, different assignment formats you can use to facilitate that flexibility, and then we're going to do some hands-on demonstrations of tools and ideas for assignments you can use to embrace your students' strengths and facilitate flexibility. So why prioritize flexibility? Some learners prefer online classes due to the flexibility. As we know, a lot of them have different constraints such as jobs, childcare, maybe their sleep schedule. If they work an overnight shift, they might be sleeping during the day and so wouldn't be able to attend a traditional in-person class. Maybe they're located in a different state or even on a different continent. But online classes give them a flexibility to still participate in a class without having that synchronous component to it. And asynchronous just means that they don't have specified class meeting times or dates. They access the material on demand. So it would be a lecture recording similar to this one, or just different materials that they can access, whether it be an article or a video. They access it on their own time and it's entirely online. So one of the principles of andragogy states that choice is especially important for adult education. They need to be intrinsically motivated and given choices when it comes to their education. By giving them various options for how they absorb the course material and submit their assignments, it helps them feel more motivated and like their strengths are really being utilized rather than they have to complete some assignment that they don't really see the point of, or they don't see how it's going to help them. And another component of that is that each student is going to have different goals, motivations, schedules, location, background, strengths, and weaknesses. And by giving them the flexibility to choose how they want to complete the assignment, it'll embrace those differences and remove barriers to learning. So today we're going to look at a variety of assignment formats you can use for teaching them the material, as well as allowing them to submit material that shows their understanding of what you've been teaching them. It'll allow them to hone their strengths and use that project as an artifact as they're applying to jobs after they graduate. It'll also help identify areas for improvement, and it'll facilitate a sense of autonomy since they'll have that ability to choose how they want to complete the assignment. So here's some options that we're going to be looking at today. If you have students that are interested in doing videos, they can use Flipgrid. We've also got web comics using Storyboard that. They can make memes using ImageFlip. You can do trivia using Jeopardy Labs, or they can make infographics using Canva. I also want to say real quick, if you want even more options, I've got a compilation list of some free instructional design tools, and that's color-coded based on what I perceive to be the time commitment necessary to really utilize that tool. Most of them are on the easier side, thankfully, and even the intermediate and more advanced ones, I still don't think that they're terribly difficult. They'll just take a little bit longer because they have some unique features that might not overlap as much with some other tools that you've been exposed to already. So the learning curve will just be a little bit steeper, but they're still worth exploring if you're interested. So here's just a quick example I made to illustrate the concept of why flexibility is important in your class. So student A is interested in gardening, is thinking about a career in television production, was voted most likely to be on TV in high school, and has a part-time job at a state park. So student A would benefit from making a short movie about which plants would thrive locally, since they're going to be gardening because of their interests, which would likely be in their own backyard. Since they're interested in television production, making a movie would be more interesting to them. And since they already have a part-time job at a state park, they would know more about which plants just grow naturally in the forest or in the park, wherever it is, and they can utilize that knowledge as well as explore making movies and videos to help them with their television production career once they graduate. Meanwhile, student B is interested in drawing, is thinking about a career in toxicology, was voted class clown in high school, and is a volunteer writer for the Pine Straw. So student B would benefit from creating a webcomic that explains how to identify toxic plants in the wild. So by allowing them to create a webcomic, they can utilize their sense of humor. They can also do drawing, since that's something that they're interested in. And since they're identifying toxic plants, that ties into their interest in toxicology as a career after they graduate. And all of this also ties in with another program we've launched called EPICS, which stands for ePortfolio Initiative for Career Success. And students take projects from each of their classes and will upload them to their online portfolio or ePortfolio. And that's something they can send to their future employers as they're applying for jobs once they graduate. So the more relevant the assignment can be to what they want to do long term, the more impact it'll have as they use it in their ePortfolio and as they apply for jobs. So first, we'll take a look at Flipgrid. Another way we can test that out, I've got this video here that I'll show you from YouTube. It's just about 2 minutes long. It's a good overview. But I also made this Flipgrid playground, which is linked here. And I made it just to give a little framework for how it would look from a student's perspective. I made an introduction topic where I recorded a video of myself just introducing myself and Flipgrid. And then I made a topic 2 for the second week, which just shows you how the topics are divided up on the page and how they would appear to a student. So let's take a look at that. So here's the 2 topics we've got. This is the introduction, and there's my video that I recorded. And this is the week 2 topic, and you can add as many topics as you want. If you don't want to do one per week, you can do several per week. You can do them every other week, however makes sense for you and your class. And you can change this background as well. So let me go ahead and play this video for you.
Want to get started with Flipgrid? It's simple, and we're here to support you. First, create a group. Just name it and add your students to it. Type in your domain name, that's everything after the @ symbol in your email, or connect your Google Classroom. Select Create Group, and step 1 is done. To make it even easier to get discussions started, there's a default introductions topic in every group. Topics are the prompts that learners respond to. Invite your students to participate by sharing your group. Simply select Share and copy the link. You can share the link anywhere, like email, Microsoft Teams, or Google Classroom. You can even share the group as a QR code for learners to scan. That's all it takes to get started on Flipgrid. Now, just wait for the discussions to take off. In the meantime, explore all of our Flipgrid tools, like our ready-to-use topics or the Flipgrid camera, to help you spark great discussion. You've got this. You are amazing. And we're so honored you're using Flipgrid to empower every voice. Want to see what things look like for your students? Check out this video. And for specific questions, our Help Center has you covered. Let's start learning together.
Okay, so that's just a quick overview of what Flipgrid is about. If you want to get more hands-on experience with it, you can check out that Flipgrid playground that I have linked right there. And you'll be able to record videos yourself so you can see what it'll be like for your students when they're responding to the topics that you post. And you can explore all the different features they have on there. You can add stickers that'll give you sunglasses or cat ears or anything like that. So yeah, it's highly customizable. And if you want more assistance with it, just send me an email and I'll be glad to do a consultation with you. So you'd create it just like any other assignment. You'll type in the introduction here. and tell them what the prompt is, what the due date is, and then you'll just paste that link from Flipgrid into the assignment. And when they click on that, it'll take them straight to that group. And here's the topic, introduction, and there's the video I recorded for it. And here, I just took a screenshot of how it looks from my main landing page. So you have different groups as well. So if you're teaching several classes in one semester, you can have a different group for each class. So I was helping to create some of the assignments for the Certificate in Online Teaching Excellence that we just launched today, actually. And this was what I created for that, just a little introduction to Flipgrid, and that goes in that class/group. And this is the Flipgrid playground that I created for y'all to use today, which would be a different class. And you can see the different topics there. So I really like the way they have it organized. It's very user-friendly and intuitive. And there's lots of tutorials out there if you need a little extra help navigating around it. And then, of course, I'm always here too. Next, we're going to look at Jeopardy Labs, and this is, as most of you have probably guessed, very similar to the game show Jeopardy. You'll be making trivia from your class, and you've got your 5 different categories. I just picked random ones since it's just a demo. But let's play this demo game that I made. So think about if you want to volunteer or not. Okay, I see there's 4 participants in here, so I'll select 4 teams. And if you have a larger class, you can separate them into however many people per group. But since there's just 4 of y'all, I'll just do individual 4 teams. So you select how many, and then you just click on Start. So who wants to pick a category and an amount that they want to earn? Nobody? Okay. Well, let's just pretend somebody picked UNCP trivia, and I'll pick 200. So as the instructor, you would see this and you would just click on 200. UNCP was founded in this year, called Croatan Normal School at that time. So then your student or team they could raise their hand or use their reaction button. Let me see if I can do that while I'm sharing. I don't think it'll let me do my reaction button. Oh, okay. Jamie Martinez raised your hand, so I'll let you give it a shot.
Say if we've all been reading our email because it's Founders Week, 1887, right?
Yep. And so then you hit space bar to reveal the answer. What is 1887? So very good. And I'll just say your team won. So then I'd give you a point, or the 200 points that you just earned. And then you just hit escape on your keyboard, and then the next person can go. And or you could just do it like we did then, where the instructor just picks the category and the amount, and then if someone knows the answer, they can raise their hand. You can do it any way that works for your class. So let me exit out of that one now. Does anyone have any questions about Flipgrid or Jeopardy Labs before I do the next 3 tools? Yes.
So did you say that, and I should know this, I'm on the committee that approves them, we have the full LTI for Flipgrid now that it's fully integrated into Canvas?
As far as I know, yeah. I think last time I helped co-facilitate the COTE, we had somebody submitting Flipgrid assignments within their class.
Okay. So, it wasn't last year, but I knew there were some accessibility concerns that they were working out.
Let me see. I've got this course where I can.
It wasn't difficult to use if it wasn't fully integrated, but it is nice if we have stuff connected.
Okay, I think it's under settings. Apps, here we go. Okay, it doesn't say installed in the corner like these other ones do. So maybe it's not fully integrated yet. Yeah. Okay.
Usually if they're available there, though, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought since it's on this page already, it was good to go. But so thanks for pointing that out, though. That's good information to have. So it's not fully integrated with Canvas, it seems like. But like Jamie said, it's pretty simple to just drop the link. I can show y'all real quick how I did it with the COTE. I made a Flipgrid assignment for them. Okay. So the assignment I made is just introduce yourself using Flipgrid. And you could do something just like this, give an overview in Canvas with the prompt, and then you just share this link with them, and Flipgrid will give you that. And you just copy and paste it. And when they click on that, it'll take them straight to that topic and group. And see, there's my introduction that I posted. Wow, way back in December. It doesn't seem that long ago. But yeah, so even though it's not fully integrated with Canvas, it's really not all that necessary to use it. Any other questions? All right, so we'll move on to the next one now. So this is a really fun one. I'm assuming most people are familiar with memes now. They've been a popular thing online for probably over a decade now, but pretty much it's just like this piece of media that's like from popular culture that has like cultural relevance or significance that most people know about. And so you can add new text over it though, and it makes it into a funny joke. So that's a fun way to have your students submit their assignments or to illustrate a concept to them. And this is just a generic example I found. So everyone pretty much knows who Austin Powers is, and that quote he has, "I too like to live dangerously." So I have him saying, "Let students choose their own topic. I too like to live dangerously." And it conveys like what I'm talking about about this tool, but it's also a fun interactive thing that they can make. And the tool for it is called Image Flip. And it's just a website that generates these memes, and they can pick from a lot of different formats yeah, most of them are pretty popular, so people should know like the context of them, but they can pick whichever one makes sense to them. Here's just a couple more examples to illustrate what I'm talking about. So if you were teaching a literature class and you were working on Shakespeare, then we've got the guy from Office Space with his quote of blah, blah, blah. That would be great. So if the Montagues and Capulets could get along, that would be great. If you're teaching a class and you're focusing on evolution, maybe someone could use this meme to illustrate how wolves evolved into domesticated dogs. And then for biology, we've got this one talking about the difference between prokaryotes and photosynthetic bacteria and their interaction with each other. So it's just a funny way for your students to illustrate their understanding of the concepts you're going over in class. And you can also use it as an instructor to illustrate a concept that might be more complicated if you just had an article about it or a text-based something. It helps it stick in their mind too if they've got kind of a joke associated with it. Are there any questions about Image Flip? No. Okay. Next, we'll move on to Storyboard That, and this is the webcomic tool that I've used a little bit. This is from another webinar I did on microlearning. So they have these backdrops that are pre-made, so I didn't have to like put all these desks here or anything. That was just a template I used. And then the characters are customizable, and I've got more info about that on the next slide. But you can choose different backgrounds. You can have them talk to each other or have thought bubbles. And then you can change the colors to indicate that it's something else. So for this one, they're having conversation here. And then this one, I would launch a poll when this part comes up, and that's why it's green, because it indicates that the students will have to answer a question when I launch a poll on Zoom, and then the comic just finishes up. So this goes along with case-based learning too. It helps them relate concepts to real life because they see it play out in a comic. And here's some different templates you can choose from. You can see the characters. They've got adults, teens, kids, and you can just choose one of these, and then you can edit the colors and the poses, everything like that. And then going back to the main template, you can choose different scenes, and they've got those categorized by time periods. They've even got monsters and myths, things like that. Yeah, they've got a lot of different options you can use, and it's totally free for the basic version anyway. You can always upgrade, and I don't think it's too expensive, but they're very transparent about their pricing. But the free version has been plenty for me for my uses. So that is Storyboard that, and you don't have to make an account either. That's a nice thing. You can save your creations without registering if you don't want to have to remember another login. But if you're going to be making a lot of them, I would recommend setting up an account. Just let you look at the different poses and things you can choose from. Any questions about Storyboard that? Okay. And the last one we're going to look at is called Canva, not Canvas, Canva. And it always comes up as Canvas whenever I type it into my web browser, but it's really useful for making infographics. I used it a lot when I was in graduate school, and it's very user-friendly. You can see here, it just asks you, what do you want to make today? And you can choose from this, and they've got different templates. And their templates are really fantastic. So this is the flyer I made for Epics. We're doing that showcase, and we're still accepting registrations until Friday if any of your students are interested in potentially winning $600. But you can see I chose this background. That was one of the templates, and they've got elements you can choose from. Like I did have these dollar bills on one of my first drafts. I ended up getting rid of those, but they've got different shapes, and most of them are free. If they've got this little crown in the corner, then that means that it's a premium element, and you have to upgrade if you want to access that one. But I've never had an issue finding ones that work just as well that are free. And it's just got a very kind of basic user-friendly layout up here. You can choose different fonts and sizes, colors. Yeah, and for making infographics, I think for this one I chose a flyer template, but a good way for your students to illustrate their understanding of something is to make an infographic, and they've got a lot of different templates for that as well. Any questions about Canva? Okay, I've got one question. On Canva, I was able to create a teacher account, which opened up a good majority of the premium items. I love Canva. Okay, great. That's good to know. Yeah, I think I even asked if we could get do something similar with our office with Canva as to what we've been doing with Camtasia and Nearpod, giving out licenses for those because it's so versatile. You can use it in pretty much any class because it's kind of like just graphic design software, and the way technology is going, any job that your students are going to get, they're probably going to need to have at least a little bit of experience with graphic design and content creation. Oh yeah, I got another comment. Our department admin uses it for all our event flyers. Yep. Cool. Okay, so that wraps up this presentation. Let me share this survey link with you. You can let me know how you enjoyed it. And I'll also put that Flipgrid playground link. Let me go back to that. Okay, and as promised, there's my Bitmoji. That's an app you can download on your iPhone, or I think it also works for Android. And basically, you just make a little cartoon comic version of yourself. It works really well for online classes. It helps add some a personal element to your online class. And for this one, it's just me popping out of a laptop. But they have a million different poses you can choose from. I'm sure you find something that's relevant to what you're teaching. And I've also got a link to all the resources we went over today, as well as that instructional design tool list. And let me just show you that real quick. I've got it color coded to show what my perception is of the time investment for learning how to use it. So minimal time investment, intermediate, and significant. Most of them are purple, I'm happy to report. A lot of the ones we went over today are on here, as I'm sure you'll see. Yeah, and I've only got 2 on significant. And honestly, even these ones, I wouldn't say they're advanced. I wanted to avoid using the word advanced to describe how difficult it is to use them, because I still think that they're user friendly. It just will take a little bit longer to learn how to use them, because there's a lot of different ways you can customize, and just learning the layout of everything, it's a little different than if you haven't used any video editing software before. But we've also got complimentary faculty licenses for both Nearpod and Camtasia through the Office of Online Learning, and we offer trainings for Camtasia internally. And then for Nearpod, we have a Nearpod representative that does demo trainings on certain days. So if you have any questions about any of these, or just the ones we went over today, you can email me, or I've also got consultations available. And if you would like a copy of this presentation, please just let me know in the chat, or you can send me an email and I'll send it on over. You see, I've got a few more comments on here. I used Flipgrid last year in our methods course to have all the other faculty in the department reflect on various topics plus some alumni. It's very user friendly. Yep, I agree. And Bitmoji makes a terrific card on Canvas too. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for those comments. If there's no more questions, I'll go ahead and end the presentation for today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.